Episode 10 proved to be a very well-written episode that focused more on storytelling over fancy technology that usually gets implemented into an APB episode. The main story is about the police trying to catch a serial rapist that is on the loose in their district. The secondary story focuses on Ada and how she deals with her former friend Danny, also known as Deviate. The show's writing doesn't focus solely on the police like the episode before it. Like the previous episode, the story involves a secondary party. In this episode's case, it involves Andre and his gang. There are two things I really liked about this episode story-wise. First, having the story be about finding a serial rapist made the show a bit darker. Second, the writing in this episode was so well written it made you think that the person writing it had experience in writing typical cop dramas, as the main story's progression appeared like a whodunit mystery. As I mentioned before, the technology side of this episode doesn't play a huge role in the episode's story. The most notable use of technology used in this episode are the 360 camera screens and the police cars that can pick up sound frequency. Although it appears that the technology doesn't play a big role, I thought its addition to this episode to be a good balance between it and the writing. The episode's secondary story, the story involving Ada, proved to be quite interesting. We get to know a bit more backstory on her through her conversation with her former teacher, and we get to see some interesting moments where she makes an attempt to solve the problem she has with her former friend Danny. Also in the ending scene, we discover how Ada managed to get a job working for Gideon. Speaking of backstory, this episode, like the previous one, had several small moments where the writer adds a bit of background and history to give the character more development. An example of this can be seen with the police commissioner Ned Conrad, a secondary character that doesn't get much screen time. We learn from the conversations between him and Andre that they have a bad history and that in the past Ned tried to get Andre arrested. Dialogue-wise, my favorite moment is when Teresa, Gideon and Andre meet up with each other. The scene they are in doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I thought Gideon being able to negotiate with somebody from the streets like Andre to be amusing, but that's just me. This episode had good drama writing, mystery, didn't focus too much on the technology, and gave the secondary character's story and plenty of development. I also like the ending, as it showed that the situation between Ada and Danny is not yet over, and it may lead to some interesting moments in the future.